I don't know. You're gonna have to ask him.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah, our characters haven't even met yet, so
Yeah. Since it's being done, I'll go ahead and do
I'm gonna wait until my character is introduced to change his name.
Yeah, I like it. All right. So, if everyone is okay with starting at this point, I think we can go ahead and let rip. I apologize as I am very nervous. It is the first time in a long time since I've DM'd, and I'm scared I'm going to fuck it all up. So here goes.
it. Don't worry. I'm scared
you're
of the
gonna do
same
great.
thing.
Dude, you're gonna do great. Don't worry about it. You got this.
So,
Fucking go!
as a little setting for the session recording, I'll go ahead and set up a little some of the stuff that I told you guys in session 1. So we are. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I had a burp. We are going to be playing D&D 5e in a homebrew setting that I have been working on for a while. It has a Nordic pantheon. The main continent is kind of a frozen over, icy wasteland. Life is harsh. And, excuse me, it creates hardy people. There's kind of a base level of magic because you kind of have to have it to get by in this world. Like, it's hard to grow stuff in frozen, hard soil, that kind of thing. And our capital city is where we will be kind of starting the story. The capital city is named Brayla, and the continent that it's on is named Aeldra. So, there is a river that leads from the ocean directly into Brayla, and let's just go ahead and start it with this little excerpt I wrote. The vast tundra of Aeldra rolls out seemingly endlessly, vast calm and beauty splayed out in the harsh sun. The land, once ravaged by war, has seemed to heal. A large ship creaks its way down the river Ladricia that feeds directly into the heart of Brayla. The ship, Brayla Star, carries people from all over the continent of Aeldra headed into Brayla for the Festival of Souls, celebrating those lost in the efforts of war and settling of the capital. No living soul or even the great-grandparents of any soul that fought is still around, but the memory is still strong and well in the hearts of the residents of Brayla. And it shows as the ship docks. In the inland dock just outside of the city, huge banners are rolled out on the sides of the largest buildings. On the outside of the city, emblazoned with the crest of the Festival of Souls, are many banners. Which I will go ahead and...
Would you be willing to give a description of them once they're posted, just for, audio?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, on a background of this royal purple, there sits an pink and red egg-shaped symbol with on this banner that has this kind of ice blue lining, and around it flares what seems to be, like a vision of a soul. It is the symbol of the festival. It is the symbol of hope and passion in the hearts of the people. They roll these out during the festivals. And I'm going to start by saying this ship that's docking, we're going to have a couple of you guys on it. And first off, Reyna, as people are shuffling off the dock, shuffling off the ship into the docking area, they're carrying their bags and stuff, and, it's a little overwhelming. You don't really hang out with people a whole lot. This is a lot for you because this ship is picking up people from all over the continent. There's a lot of people milling about. There's people that are here for business, people that are here for the event. There's people that live here that are coming back into town from visiting friends and family far off. And what do you do as you see people filing off the ship? Do you want to talk about your character? Explain your character.
I feel I would probably kind of step to the side, out of the way of people, because just don't do people. I am kind of like a nerdy explorer, so I'm gonna be in like leathers and kind of raggy looking. Not really anything crazy to me, other than my light purple hair.
On that note, do you want to describe what your character looks like physically?
She's gonna have really pale skin, like a not quite white, but very close. Light purple hair, like I said. I think she's gonna have like little leather boots on, leather wrist pieces, raggy clothes, like I said, because she's an explorer. She's just got back from some ruins, little things like that.
Cool. So as you step to the side, a couple of people shuffle off. They're clearly here for the festival. You know, they've got colorful cloaks on, and you know, it's very celebratory clothes, which is kind of odd for this this setting, because it's, you know, people wear big fur jackets that are brown tanned hide jackets. They're wearing stuff to keep the chill off, but you see people wearing, I mean, what would be the equivalent to a Hawaiian shirt, you know. It's very colorful. There's a lot of the colors of the city emblem that is being displayed on the flags, that are this blue and purple, this ice blue and royal purple kind of colors. And as you step to the side, a family shuffles off, and you hear the kids bickering about who's gonna get the get to a cotton candy stand first, and you know, one's older than the other one, so they get to get there first, and they get to get all the you know, it's just kids bickering. There's a lot of noise going on, but one thing you notice in particular is that off the business end of the boat, there's, you know, this is a large boat. There's a separate dock for people shipping and importing. You notice something that you don't see a lot, which is a guy who is kind of frost blue skin with these bluish horns. And like, I think you would recognize that he is a tiefling, but you haven't seen many tieflings before. As you shuffle off, I'm going to move, you know, shuffle off the dock. I'm going to move on to Driffin. Sorry, I forgot how to pronounce that. You are going over the manifesto with the shipmaster of everything that you have brought into dock. You know, because you answered the call for you know, meats and furs and stuff. That's kind of your job. You drift and you know, live out in the logging town or whatever, and it's a big festival time, so they have a demand for goods, and you're going over that with the shipwright, who is, you know, just making sure that you have everything that you're supposed to have, and that you're not getting off the ship with anything you're not supposed to have, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's hassling you a little bit, just giving you trouble, and you can tell it's because he doesn't see many of your kind. You know, your family lives out on the edge of the continent. They kind of keep themselves. It's something that you do as well. You know, people just don't see a lot of you, and you're getting some looks, but you know, it's fine. But eventually he lets you pass on, and you can go into the city. Your directions that you have been given are to head to the Leighton's Legacy, one of the biggest kind of general stores, and your distribution is through that store. So,
Okay.
on that note, behind you there is a large, gruff man who is kind of doing the same thing. You know, he's he's not getting any hassle, but he's brought in some furs, some meat, some stuff from hunting. He's clearly more the type that he does this as a job rather than just like, well, let's make some extra money by taking in some spare scraps on the side. That is our friend Wolfram, and if you can't talk right now, that's perfectly fine. I'll move on.
I'm here. Let me do my introduction.
Cool.
All right. I wasn't planning on being on the ship, but I can work with this. Yes. Probably, you probably noticed him on the voyage. He's probably kept to himself. A massively tall, leanly muscular man who is extremely underdressed for the occasion. If somebody has free hands, could they post his picture and character info? But yeah, he's very tall, lean, but very visibly muscular. He's wearing what seems to be a massive wolf pelt, black wolf pelt, as pretty much his only clothing over the top. And he has what I call sick abs syndrome. It's very common in action movie protagonists and video game protagonists. His abs always look like they have just been applied oil to. And
Nice.
yeah, he actually has like this massive bundle of pelts that he's carrying with him that just look like they would be very, very heavy. They are very, very heavy, but the way he lifts them makes them appear to not be very heavy. But yeah, he is kind of a blank, impassive expression, piercing, intense blue eyes, and he is kind of spent the whole time kind of out of the way and unmoving during this whole voyage.
That's amazing.
All right. I realize I kind of brushed over it. Do you want to go ahead and give your character description, Driffin? Because I like I said, that was my fault. I brushed over it.
You're fine. You're fine. For the most part, I mean, you can see what the picture looks like, so like I don't really need to describe much there, except for the fact that while the in-layer of my clothing is fur, I tend to like the coat a little more. Anybody will notice when I'm coming off of the boat that I have a longer sleeve on one side than I do on the other, to cover up a couple of things. Being that I'm already tiefling, I already catch enough attention. The kind of person that in a room will find a wall and put my back to it and observe the entire room. So anyone on the ship would have noticed that while I stayed silent, I noticed every little thing that was going on. Extreme attention to detail. Usually don't speak unless spoken to, but only say what needs to be said. And what else? I am a huge counter to aggression, so if someone is aggressive toward me, I will return the favor.
I like it.
That's pretty much it.
I like it. I like it. So, sorry, I'm just looking through notes here. Okay, cool. So, you guys all make your way kind of into town. Driffin and Wolfram, you have, your wares with you, and you're headed towards the Leighton's Legacy, and you've been given instructions, and I imagine you guys aren't together, but
We
Reyna,
can travel in the same direction.
yeah, I imagine you
It
guys
seems
probably
like-
do take note of each other given your visages,
We are essentially the exact same person and personality, which I think is great because we also do the same thing. So we're just both walking in the same direction while ignoring each other as hard as possible.
Yeah, I like it. I like that character dynamic.
Yep.
Um,
We notice each other's presence, but we pay it no mind.
Oh yeah.
so, Reyna, as a traveler visiting the city for, I'm not going to give you your own motives. You can choose your motives. What would your motives be? Where would be the first place that you would go?
I'd probably go into the town center, to kind of check everything out.
Okay. So, you kind of mill past a bunch of people. There's there's some shuffling about. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, and it's all lighthearted. Nobody's meaning to be a dick, but it's a city populated with a lot of people, and a lot of people are incoming. It's event times. You see at a stall selling meat, and you notice because the smell kicks in, the smell of cooking meat kicks, it catches your nose, and because it almost smells a little burnt. It's weird. Rig is standing there at that stall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You notice that he notices you as you notice him, and then he ducks behind the stall, and you don't see him anymore.
Why would he duck away? Oh. Okay.
Are you going to do anything about that, or
I'm gonna go and try to find him.
if you roll you can walk over there or whatever, but he's gone. There's nothing left. There's no
trace
sign
of
of him. No. There's not even a Riggs meat shop. And when you get over there, you even notice that the meat, it's weird. It's barely cooked. There's no reason it should be smelling like it's burnt.
Okay.
So Driffin and Wolfram, you managed to get to the Leighton's Legacy at about the same time, and there's a guy outside who's directing traffic of these imported goods, because you guys aren't the only ones. Excuse me. Hey, excuse me. Jeez, I'm so burpy today. I shouldn't have drank that Dr. Pepper. So it's a dwarven guy, and he's got this shock mane of mohawk that's super long, and you can tell that he gels it because it would not stick up like that by itself. You kind of get the vibe from him that he's got a little bit of an inferiority complex, just because of the way that he's talking to people, and it seems like maybe he styled his hair that way just to seem taller.
Wolfram, a massive man, pillar of a man, walks up to him and drops this enormous pile of furs that clatters on the ground, only to open to reveal about a half dozen rocks of antlers attached to just clean deer skulls. He's the guy that we're selling it to, right?
Yes.
And I say, you buy?
God damn it! Wolfram, I've told you this 1,000 times. You can't just... There's a door for this. Just go. You know where the door is. You sell to me every year. Well, oh my god. I can't lift this by myself. Ah! Damn it!
Do I look like I fit through the door?
You know what? That's fair enough. I barely fit through it myself. He easily fits through it.
Wolfram nods his head and picks up the pellets and carries it inside, easily fitting through the door.
Yes. So this guy, he sees you drifting right, kind of, because you guys were pace for pace, and he goes, "You blue guy, are you look like you have goods, right? Like you're one of the new guys."
Maybe.
All right, one of those. Cool. Go check in. There's another guy in the back. He's got like some robes and shit. He helps me from time to time. Just go check in with him. Give him your manifest, and we'll go from there.
All right, we'll do, little man.
You notice he bites his lip to the point that there's a trickle of blood. Not acute, but like just a drop of blood in the corner of his lip.
You hear a loud clattering inside again. So, inside, we see there's a guy who... This is where you will be, Mortimer. You have been hired because, you're helping get goods to people, helping... you've been hired by the city. The mayor talked to you about this and is like, "Hey, you're good with people. I'm not great. Can you help out where help needs?" I think Joey Fatone over in at the Layton's Legacy needs some help with I don't just go over there, help somebody. And so right now you're in there coordinating stock, telling people where to go. And this big brute of a man wearing a wolf pelt comes in and drops a bundle in front of you very loudly. Note, sickest abs you've ever seen, and it's very strange to see somebody that is not wearing a top here, because it's very cold.
Okay. Okay, so the pelts hit the ground, and you see this. Now, you look at this man as you're dropping your pelts, and he's about your height. But as the pelts hit the ground, he kind of jumps, and you don't hear boots hit the ground when he lands. It sounds kind of wooden, like he may or may not be.
My height?
Yes.
That's very, very, very tall.
Wait, how tall are you?
Like I described Wolfram as being towering over others.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so picture like 6 foot, right?
Okay.
He jumps when the pelts hit the ground, and there's kind of like a wooden sound. It's not boots, so like he may or may not be standing on top of like barrels strapped to his feet, just for height. And he turns around and he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, I see that you dropped your clothes on the floor. You might want to put some of those on. It's kind of chilly out there, friend."
I am not cold.
Oh, well, alrighty then. I guess I'll take these furs. And now he looks just above your eyes, and he looks at you with the most serious expression, and he goes, "Feel free to browse my wares while you wear your brows." And then he just looks away, and he goes, "Put the furs away."
That's
I will
good.
do so. Yeah, I think Wolfram just nods and starts browsing his wares.
Cool. So, you notice that it's a typical general store stuff. There's maybe some knives, like hunting knives. Hunting knives in the stock. That's about the only thing that they really have that's, out of ordinary for it to be like a general store. Mostly it's like sacks of grain, some beets, some carrots, a lot of root vegetables. And Mortimer, you've been given a coffer to pay these people based out of, and based on what Wolfram has paid has come in with, his excuse me, Jesus, I'm so sorry about that. It equates to about 2 gold and 5 silver.
Well, it is a massive pile, and I honestly was thinking this would be the way that I would get my starting gold.
That's perfectly fine with me. Go ahead and
Give me 10 gold, small man. Our large man with barrel feet. Wolfram says none of this. He doesn't really say very much.
Okay, so Mortimer comes back over from stocking the shelves, and he doesn't really say anything to you, but he just kind of looks at you and like squints as he holds out the bag. And as you look closer, you notice that his left eye is completely black, and like there's no color, and his right eye is blue.
So as you notice that, Mortimer, you get the second shock today. Well, not really a huge shock, because you've seen some tieflings. They come in from time to time during the events, mostly selling their wares. You see Driffin walk up with his satchel of wares.
Okay, so Mortimer looks at Wolfram, looks at Driffin, does that a couple of times, looks back at Wolfram and goes, "Now you see, I know you said you're not cold, but you'll get frostbite and end up looking like that guy."
I believe he is a tiefling.
It's on my blue skin when you gotta wear barrels. Interesting.
Yes, he has a good point.
Driffin positions himself so that he can keep Wolfram within eyesight while dealing with the big barrel.
You are behind Wolfram. You can see the absolutely massive sword strapped to his back. It's a long, wicked blade.
Compensating for something there?
Oh, you wish.
I like it.
So, you'll notice I've brought in more than you might think I had, because on my way to boarding the ship, I picked up a little extra.
Oh, that's never a bad thing.
So, you guys go about your business. Mortimer deals out the appropriate levels of coinage for your wares, and about this time, Joey comes back in, and he goes, "Mortimer, what are you? I told you can't just stand around and talk to people all day. If you're gonna be here, you gotta. Whatever. It's not. I don't have any other help."
You call it standing around, I call making a sale.
I would like to point out that the only thing that has been done as money has been taken out of the store's coffers.
Yes.
Has Wolfram been paid at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
Wolfram leaves, or he starts to leave.
It's perfectly fine.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Catch you next time, unless you catch a cold.
I don't think that man can get cold.
The only thing that seems to be cold about him is his heart.
And those rock-hard nipples.
Bruh, I almost just covered my computer screen in Monster.
So everyone has been paid. Joey is running around the store like a chicken with its feet cut off. It's chaos in the store, but yeah, he gives you the hint that you can go on about your day. He's got it covered from here. These guys were the last of the imports. He dealt with the other ones. Everybody's been paid, and basically you have the night for yourself. Well, I say the night. It's more like about lunchtime by the time everything gets done. Maybe when we started it was closer to like 10:30, but now it's about 1 o'clock. I'm gonna say about 12:30-ish. And also just time works like it does in our world. I'm not gonna go through all that complication bullshit. It's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Awesome. It sounds better to me. I'll be able to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah. And as you guys kind of walk out around about the city, the smell of food cooking is overwhelming. There's stalls every 10 or 15 feet. Like, it's clear that this is a big to-do, and everybody pitches in, and everybody makes up for what they need to make up for. And it's a whole lot of fun, you know. Even those of you that are more quiet and reserved can recognize that, like, you know, the kids running around, kicking around these, like, you know, leather balls and cotton candy stalls and hard candy stalls and meat stalls and roasted vegetable stalls. The smells and sounds and so it's awesome.
If Wolfram has been here before, which it sounds like he's a regular, he's already moved on to go buy his store of alcohol, which is what he's run out of and why he's back in civilization.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's what keeps him warm.
So, about this time, I think we're going to check in with Reyna. What are you up to?
I would probably be exploring all of the booths and kind of looking around, trying to keep an eye out for Reg, even though you say, like, gone. But I feel like I would still just kind of be looking around.
So you're kind of on high alert. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Driffin, Mortimer, now that you have, you know, you're free, your business is done for the day, what do you think you're heading about town doing?
I think I'm gonna observe the festivities from a safe distance away from crowds.
Cool. So you find yourself a corner, kind of an alleyway that meets a corner of a road. You know, you can kind of stand just outside, just inside the alley rather, and kind of watch what's going on. And you know, everything's cool. Every now and again, a passing vendor kind of looks at you and like holds up a shish kebab and like, you know. What about you, Mortimer? What do you think you're doing now that you've got the afternoon to yourself?
Mortimer would like to go to a tavern or a place where he can find a drink and just kind of sit and people watch and just like kind of hang out and watch the festivities go on.
Perfect.
Oh man, I actually see a great way to tie ours together, because I think Wolfram would probably go to some such establishment, have fun at a large store of alcohol, and then be that, you know, that trope of the ranger sitting in the dark corner in a tavern.
Yes.
He does that exact thing because he is a walking cliche.
Oh my god. We're literally the same, like where we are right now. We're doing the same thing, except you're doing the introverted version and I'm the extroverted version, because I will definitely jump out and shout some random shit when people walk by.
So, the best bar in town, which is also where most people buy, you know, wholesale alcohol. It's a whole big building that's like 3 stories. It's right smack dab on one of the corners in the town square. Wolfram, you know this. You've been here a couple of times. You go ahead there. It's Hibbett's Brook Brewery. I still can't.
I hate to be difficult, but for sure, Wolfram would not go to the best bar in town. He would go to some dinky shithole where there wouldn't be as many people, and people would leave him alone.
Understood.
Like, that's just who he is as a person.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. So,
how about a bar called the Goblin's Grundle? The Ox's Knuckle.
Yeah, I think you end up at the Dirty Moose. it's definitely not the best bar in town. It's also hopefully not the worst, but it's not too far outside of the main center square. But it's just that, like, you know, the biggest bar, the best bar, everybody's going there. It's not hard to get away from the, you know, to become a dingy shithole when there's, like,
Yeah.
one bar that everybody goes to. And,
Like he's still adjacent to everything that's going on because he wants to enjoy the festivities, but he also doesn't want to be like crushed in by all this civilization.
yeah, understood. So,
So
so, Reyna, you're wandering around and you find yourself a nice pub that's kind of set not dead center, but like, you know, it's we're talking about Hibbetsbrook Brewery. It is the kind of biggest bar, sells wholesale liquor. You know, everybody goes there. You've never been there, but it looks like a good time. So you wander on over, and you notice standing outside at kind of a walk-up bar is a guy who seems to be about a little bit taller than average height, but the proportions don't add up. And he turns around and he's got two tankards and one in his hand, an additional one in his hand, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
two tankards are on his feet.
Insane.
And he's got one in his hand that's full up of some frothy, you know, kind of beer. Honeyed mead, probably, you think, for this area. You know, you're traveled, you know about this area, and you're so kind of a little overwhelmed with everything going on. You only realize that you've seen this guy because you've bumped into him. You recognize that you have just chest bumped the hell out of this man, and Mortimer, you happen to turn around and there is an elf woman like in your face, and she knocks you on your ass accidentally, and the honeyed mead that you had just goes everywhere. And across the street from there, in a little alcove, Driffin, you see this happening, and it's a big to do because party foul, you know. Everybody stops for a quarter of a second. It's not a big thing, but everybody stops for a quarter second.
Excuse
We're gonna
me.
just start freaking out. I'm so sorry.
I couldn't help but notice that I just had a long day at work, and now I'm wet, and not the good kind.
I will buy you another one.
That would be much appreciated.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Honeyed mead. The
All
usual.
right.
Man, if I was him, I would have got something expensive.
So there are some options. Most people are getting kind of a honeyed mead. Even the kids are getting kind of the watered down version where they fill up a quarter of the cup with the honeyed mead and then fill the rest up with water, and you know, like it's a party. But there are a couple of like liquor options. There's like on a wooden slat sign, there's a couple of like listed drinks that has the word specials on the top of the sign, and you get the idea that it's kind of party drinks. It's probably the Long Island iced tea, the Irish trash can, you know, those kind of drinks. One of them is Beetroot Blast, and you kind of get the idea that it's like a root liquor, like vodka kind of deal, vodka drink. You know, there's a couple of listed things. Are you gonna partake in anything?
I will get his honey mead, and I will get me probably a beetroot blast.
Make a Constitution check.
I really don't like the fact that you just did that.
Interesting.
Very interesting. $15.
15. It's stout. It's pretty stout. You hadn't had any kind of liquor like this, but you're fine for now. But you think 2 or 3 of these, and you're gonna be in the weeds.
Okay.
Yeah. So, everyone, as you guys are getting your drinks, you hand Mortimer his honeyed mead, and you take a couple of sips, and you're like, "Whew, damn, okay." Oh, there is a quieting over the crowd as the center stage that has been set up over the fountain, which has been kind of turned off. There are 6 halflings standing in a huddle in the middle of this square in front of the stage. There are 2 half-orc women holding instruments, playing lightly as a hush takes over the crowd. A third half-orc male acts as a caller, calling out to the crowd as people shift past, enjoying the revelry. Why did I use a yellow pen? I can't read this. He calls out, "Ladies and gents, people of all ages, don't you want to get away from this average everyday? Come watch the halflings play." A loud pop and sparks shoot forth from the center of the circle that the halflings were standing in. A 7th halfling, flies straight up into the air doing flips and spinning as the music floods in, seeming louder than it has any right to. The halfling twists and lands on the elevated stage that it sits over the fountain. The surrounding 6 halflings each do their own flips and acrobatics, making their way onto the stage in complete synchronicity. At this point, you start to hear music down the road, Wolfram. The caller pulls forth his drum and proceeds to set a rhythm as the performance kicks off. The halflings fall into line and begin the main part of their performance. They dance and sing, wonderfully practiced for a solid 10 to 15 minute performance. As the act dies down and draws to a close, each member of the troupe does a bow, takes off their hats, and begins to walk around the crowd asking for donations, as the caller shouts out, "Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Half-Steppers," before taking off his own hat and moving about the crowd himself. As they do so, you notice that there is a dragonborn man in the corner in the corner of the square, talking to what appear to be some, people that you get the vibe that they work for him.
Alright. I guess Wolfram shows up eventually. He gets tired of drinking at this dinky shithole and decides to follow the music just to have a change of pace before he leaves.
Sounds good. You arrive probably in the last 5 minutes to start their performance. It's pretty fun. There's clearly some shenaniganery going around. Halflings don't jump 10 feet into the air naturally,
Well, maybe these don't. Yeah, I'll drop a coin into the donation.
You happen to drop a coin into the hat of a kind of shorter, stockier halfling. She has dyed hair. It's kind of bleach blonde-ish. She looks about the same as the rest of them, but she's just heavier and denser. And she looks up at you and she goes, "Thank you, sir. I hope you."
She look up and then up and then up, but yeah.
Her head is at a 90-degree angle to her body right now. Just thank you, sir.
Wolfram does that thing where he doesn't really change his expression so much as he just kind of closes his eyes for a second, thins his mouth, and does a slight nod. You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'd go and drop a coin in.
Okay. You drop a coin in the hat of a male halfling with a small scar on his chin, whereas he seems to have put glasses on after the performance, and he seems to be the oldest among the group. The rest seem to be pretty close to the same age, though. And he says, "Thank you, madam. I hope you enjoyed the performance. You don't look like you're from around here."
No, I'm not. I'm kind of all over the place.
One of those. Cool. Well, thank you, and we'll be here all week.
All right.
As they clear about, walk around the crowd, you hear the chittering of children as they laugh and run about, and you see one kid run up onto the stage, and in his hands, it seems like he's got some kind of small animal, and it look you can, all that you can really tell is that, oh god, where are my notes? That it's kind of a black and gray fur, black and gray. It's kind of a black and gray fur, and it's kind of in a blur, and it seems to be in distress, and it proceeds. Okay, it
roll initiative.
No. But I will need everyone to make a Constitution save, as it emits a large yellow gas.
Boy.
Is this a skunk?
It's an Arctic stink squirrel, so a skunk, yeah.
Do you want me to?
Plus.
Do you want me to type what I rolled, or do you want me to?
You can
say it
just
aloud?
say it out loud.
Okay.
That's a 4 plus a 5. That's a 9.
Oof.
11 plus 1. I got 12.
What am I rolling here?
You will
D20.
roll your d20 and then add when in your character sheet, you'll have saving throws as an option, kind of towards the top. Your Constitution save is what you're adding your bonus to.
You said a D12?
D20.
20. All right.
Yes.
How do you use the thing inside the Discord?
It should be. Oh yeah, it got all funky. Should be exclamation mark D20. That should do it for you. No spaces.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Would it be possible, as a huntsman and a trapper with preternatural reflexes and instincts, that I would recognize this creature and could cover my nose and somehow gain advantage on this?
I
if
think
I can roll to check to recognize it?
I think that's fair.
Okay, I will. I don't know what the
Interesting.
DC for recognizing it is, but I will roll maybe a nature.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. That's an 11. Was that enough to get advantage?
I think so. Yeah, because this is a fairly
Okay.
common creature. It's not.
Okay, that's a 15 instead. 10 plus 5.
Cool. Good.
He covers his nose with his pelts. When he sees it, his eyes
So-
go wide and he covers.
Did
it
any...
raises a question.
Go ahead.
I was a distance away from the crowd. Am I still within radius?
20 foot. So 40 foot spear, 20 feet from the center of where it was. Yeah, I think you could. Yeah, that makes sense. You could be away from it. You other guys were kind of in the crowd though, so you know. Did anyone roll less than 11?
Me.
You did?
I did on my first roll,
Yes.
but then I rolled a 15. So I think like his eyes are watering as he tries to filter it out through the pelts, because like he's if it had hit him, his enhanced sense of smell, it probably would have fucked him up.
Yeah. So, Reyna, being the only one who failed, you instantly start retching and gagging, and you double over. Wait a second. No, you're not immune to poison, are you? As an elf, that's not a thing.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Dwarves are resistant, though, so they would get advantage.
Yes. So, Jax, if you failed, roll again, because you would have advantage.
Okay.
I assume most of the people in the crowd are retching and, like, reacting to this?
Yes, and, yeah, most of the people are, there's some people that are even, kind of vomiting a little bit. There's been people that are drinking a lot and eating a lot, so...
At this point, after all of this has happened, I think Wolfram is, like, actively, quickly wading through the crowd towards this thing, towards this child with this Arctic stink squirrel. And he's gonna walk up to it, grab a hold of it, and hurl it out of the middle of town. Can I just yeet this thing, like, away?
Yes, that's fair. You're a big dude, and this is a kid. I think you don't need a check to grab it and yeet it. But I will say, make a dex save, just because it might scratch and bite you a little bit, and I just kind of want to see,
Honestly, I think he would just eat it. He would grab it by the scruff, and whatever damage he takes, he's just holding it for as short time as possible and eating it.
Yeah.
Let's see, Dex. That is a natural 10. So, +2?
Yeah, that's fine. It wasn't a hard check. This thing's just kind of freaking out. It's not actively trying to. It's just trying to get away. So, the moment that you probably have it in your hand for a total of 2 seconds,
Yeah, I grab it, it probably lands on a roof and skitters off. Like, it's not large enough that it would really take damage from being thrown that, honestly, unless if I threw it on the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I toss it.
So, you hear a man's voice, because this yellow cloud it's gross. It's clearly there. You see a man wearing a kind of royal, like an icy blue and gray cloak with a book strapped to his hip, run up and says, "Damn it! Just because your father isn't around doesn't mean you get to And he kind of waves his hands and mumbles, and a gust of wind brushes through the town square, and you can see this cloud kind of dissipating. Because when I say it's a yellow cloud, it's a yellow. It looks like a cloud of pollen. Like it's gross.
Yeah.
And this man, yeah, this man who I'm just uploading a picture of now, he grabs the kid by his wrist, and he looks at you, Wolfram, and he's about average height. He's about 5'9", 5'10", so he looks up at you, and he goes, sorry, go ahead.
So, basically what I think happens is he turns really quickly to look at me, realizes he's looking at my chest, and then slowly pans up.
I mean, pretty much.
Wolfram is used to this.
And he as his eyes leave nipple height and go up to eye height, he goes, thank you so much. I appreciate... Nope, that's not his voice. We find it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help. That could have been much worse if it got the chance to do a second burst. What's your name, sir? And he holds out his hand to shake your hand.
Wolfram looks at the hand for a second.
Make a perception check.
Then, okay. Let me roll. Yeah, he doesn't go straight for it. He's the type that he looks at the hand first. That is a natural 1.
Oh, okay.
No.
You don't notice anything special. It's a hand.
Wolfram puts out his hand to shake his hand and says, "Wolfram."
Nice to meet you. I thank you greatly. Wow, you're a lot. Thank you. I appreciate the help. And he nods quickly.
And yours?
Connor. I'm Connor. I am the brother of. Why can't I remember names? The names of the characters that I created. I am the brother of Adric, and you know Adric to be the kind of, not officially, but basically the mayor for Brayla.
Wolfram looks at him for a moment and says, "Your magic has done good."
Oh, it's nothing. It's just, it is what it is. Just a parlor trick. And he nods at you, kind of hesitates for a moment, and then drags the kid off the stage. And as he's walking away, you can hear him. That is the third time this week. I don't know why you think that you can, and that's all you get before he's kind of pushed through the crowd with the kid. And
Okay.
behind him walks Adric up onto the stage.
I guess I'm standing near the stage now. I was not previously, but I am now, so...
Yes. Adric is dressed in very much the same kind of attire, but he has a big, long, dark beard, and his hair is a lot longer, whereas Connor had kind of a, swept back, kind of well-maintained hairline. Adric kind of looks like... He looks like the warrior type, you can recognize the build of a man who once fought and maintained his body, but has now kind of gone to fat. And that picture is uploading, and he says to you, "Yeah, thank you." That's not his voice either. Why am I struggling with that today? Yeah, thank you. These troubled children. We're trying to figure out a way to deal with it, but it's rough. It's rough. People get, whatever. But thank you. See me after the announcement, and we will, we'll talk about that. We'll embarrass you for your help. And then he kind of motions for you to walk away.
Wolfram just stands there. I'm not on the stage. I'm just standing near the stage. There are other people around.
Yeah, okay. So at this point, he kind of nods to you, and he raises a finger. He raises a finger to the side of his cheek, and as he does, you notice it kind of glows a little blue. And his voice is magnified, and he speaks now, saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry about that. Free round at Hibbetsbrook on me. We shouldn't have let little Johnny, his dad, went. Everybody knows little Johnny's dad went missing. We're sorry about that. We're trying to figure out some." I was never... You realize that he means to whisper this next part, but he doesn't realize that he's still got his hand to his cheek, amplifying his voice. I was never any good at these people speeches things. Yeah, we'll get it figured out. We're sorry, people. Free food and free drinks for the next hour. Go for it. Enjoy yourselves. And he takes his hand away, and the blue glow as his finger fades, and he steps down from the stage, and he nods again at you, Wolfram, and Reyna. He approaches you, and he sticks out his hand, and he goes, I'm Adric Tolbrook. What's your name? I haven't seen you around before."
I will probably kind of look at his hand for a second and then grab it and say, "Hi, I'm Reyna. I'm an explorer. I'm not from these parts."
"What brings you to Brayla?" And he hasn't let your hand go yet.
I would look down at the hands, kind of be weirded out by the fact that he hasn't let go yet. And just tell him looking for some history.
Well, there's plenty of history here in Brayla, and especially in Aeldra. Are you one of those that, they delve into the crypts of ancient times and such like that?
Yes, I am.
He pulls your arm into his chest a little bit and leans in close to your ear and pats your back, and he says, "Careful around here. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. You never know what's hiding in those crypts." And he pats your back a couple more times just to try. It's a little too hard,
Okay.
A good point, home.
Yeah.
By the way, does he realize that Wolfram is standing like right beside them, because he said he wanted to talk afterward. So Wolfram is just standing right there the entire time this is happening.
Oh yeah, probably. He turns around and you see him kind of jump a little bit, and because he realized that you were there, but he didn't expect you to be right there.
Tell me about this little Johnny's father.
Well, that's a. Follow me. And he turns and walks, nodding over his shoulder while he's walks towards an alleyway that, Driffin, you are in that alleyway, but you think he can't see you very well. Because you're not hiding per se, but you're not in easy sight, but it seems like he doesn't even notice that you're there. Wolfram, you do notice. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, can I make a perception check and see if he's there versus, I don't know, if he wants to hide stealth?
Yeah, if you want to actively hide, Driffin, you can roll stealth, but,
I'm not hiding. I'm just here.
Okay.
Okay. Then I notice him, but I say nothing.
Yeah. And I'll say, Driffin's not hiding, but you could see how somebody with bad sight wouldn't notice him right away. And you kind of get the feel that Adric has bad sight, maybe. And as you guys get about... it was probably 35... This alleyway, the opening is probably 35 feet away from the square. As you get within 10 feet, Driffin, you notice that he does notice you. And he stops and he says, "Oh, are you... What? I didn't know is your family in town, Driffin?"
Who's saying this?
Adric, the town mayor.
He knows me?
Apparently.
Interesting. Okay. No, family's not in town. Came here to answer the call for food and pelts.
Oh, and we appreciate that greatly. I just didn't expect... I haven't seen... Last time I saw you and your family was... I think your grandfather was here, and you were just a tot. Huh.
Yeah.
Obviously, you definitely get a weird vibe from that.
Yeah.
But he says to you... Oh, the upload failed for Adric's video. Sorry. Adric's picture. There it is. Reyna has said that she would be following behind Wolfram and the mayor. Are you trying to stealthily hide? Stealthily do it so they don't notice you, or what?
Kinda.
So roll a stealth for me. And he obviously seems shocked as he's talking to you, Driffin. And he takes a second, he turns around to Wolfram and he goes, well, maybe it's good that you're here. Both of you, okay. And then he leads kind of into the alleyway behind you a little bit, Driffin. Maybe you rolled a 15 stealth. What is everybody's passive?
I think mine's a 14. I think. I know it's a 13. I'll have to check though. I am away from my stuff right now.
Yeah.
What now?
Your passive perception, which... Where is the character sheet? There it is. Okay. I'm opening it now to... Well,
Is there any point where I should be like, I don't know, eavesdropping?
you can be if you want to, but I will say you do definitely notice... Because Adric is not being subtle about this, and Adric gave you instructions earlier today to go help Joey Fitone in Leighton's Legacy.
There's also the fact. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, there's also the fact that the mayor just walked into a dark alleyway away from the crowds with probably one of the most noticeable people there.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, everybody here gets the impression that he's not like very tactically minded. You know, he's kind of blunt, kind of brute about the way that he goes about things, and so
Can I? Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Can I roll for a stealth?
Yes.
Okay.
So
That was a sip.
that was a 17.
Yes.
So unless anybody wants to roll an active perception, they don't notice Reyna and Mortimer, which is...
I mean, honestly, I think I'm going to go with passive here because I'm not really on high alert.
Yeah, I think Driffin, you can roll an active one if you want, because that is what you're doing that right now. You know, like...
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna
Wolfram
say if
literally
anybody saw us, it would be Driffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like,
so.
Wolfram just doesn't care if anybody else is nearby, so
Yeah,
passive is
20.
plenty.
Yes, anytime that I ask for a skill or saving throw, it's going to be a d20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mortimer sees the mayor and Wolfram, this very tall man, start to go walk into the alleyway. So he kind of just like takes his barrels off and like is now level height with the rest of the crowd and starts following them.
Okay, I was gonna make you roll with disadvantage if you still had the barrels on, because
No.
yeah.
The-
How
the
tall
skill-
is he?
Mortimer, he's like, I don't know what is an average dwarf height.
4 to 5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like 4'2".
Damn.
The barrel's at a good 1.5 to 2 feet, so he gets about like anywhere between like 5'6" to 6 foot, depending on how much
That's awesome.
snow is built up underneath the barrels.
So, Driffin, you rolled a 7, and your perception is a +4. So that's an 11. So you don't actually notice either of them, which is odd.
I think I have an explanation for this. It's because as like almost, kind of being in the same like profession and also immediately identifying Wolfram as being a dangerous individual, his focus is probably on Wolfram and he doesn't notice the other threats.
I think that's
I'm
pretty fair.
distracting him.
But that,
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm also paying extra attention to the weird things going on with the aforementioned mayor.
Yeah.
So, he pulls you guys kind of a little bit deeper into the alley, and he turns and he goes, Wolfram, I don't know you very well personally, but I've heard tale of you, and Driffin, I know your family somewhat again through tale. Driffin,
So-
sorry.
So when he says tail, does he mean like if he's heard of the Wolframs, does he mean like the rumor that there's a century-old warrior somewhere in the waste?
You get that impression, yeah. It seems a lot more drastic than it is, because you know that yourself, you're kind of, you know yourself, you know? You're like, why is
Yeah.
there a legacy of me?
Well,
And
most people don't know that there has been many Wolframs. Yeah, if you'll notice, Wolfram is Wolfram the
and
Seventh. Yeah.
I question what tale he's heard of my family.
Do you actually ask him?
Yeah, I genuinely do.
Well, you obviously come from a powerful bloodline. I mean, there's. He seems kind of confused. There's. I don't know how to say it other than there's power in your bloodline. There's. Can you not do certain magics? And you know that you can do a bloodline based magic. It was taught to you by your family, but it was more of a this is how you feel the way that you feel to unlock this magic.
Yeah.
I've seen Teen
Is there
Titans.
anything that's new?
Well, that's certainly okay. Is this your first year bringing goods? I mean, we make this call every year. Like I said, I see. Last I saw you, you were maybe 3 years old.
I try to stay away from the city.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm not much of a people person either. Honestly, the only reason I ended up in this role was kind of the people's choice thing. I guess that's kind of the downside. Whatever. Y'all don't need to hear about my political whatever. So Wolfram, as I stated, that kid's father has gone missing. By the way, you guys, Mortimer and Reyna, are just like fucking Metal Gear Solid cardboard box, but somehow it's working.
Oh, Mortimer, did you climb in a barrel?
Yes.
He's just rolling down the alley.
Yes. Every single time you guys take 3 steps, the barrel gains like little boots.
Yes.
I love
the
it.
Actual best thing ever.
So he begins to almost whisper a little bit, and it's kind of annoying because he brought you over here for the point of secrecy. But he says, little Johnny's father went missing. Normally in a town full of so many people, there are hundreds of people that live here, maybe even getting close to 1,000. I don't know. I'm supposed to know that because I'm he does air quotes, mayor. But Connor does all of the logistical shit. Ah, damn it. I'm not supposed to curse in front of the town. Whatever. My point is...
GG's fine.
The point is that he's not the only one. By my count, by our count, there's 95 people that have gone missing. And
What is the fault of this?
we don't know. Connor and I have pored over ancient scripts and texts to see if maybe there's some kind of ogre that lives in the land and maybe kidnapping people, or shades that steal people in the night, or
Have you been actively pursuing anything yourself?
we've been pursuing knowledge, but that's all we can do because these people go missing when they're alone. They don't have any witnesses.
You will tell me all that you know. I will go out into the waste and find this monster. You will pay me?
Handsomely, we will pay you.
See,
all
you're not a man of many words, eh?
Wolfram just looks at you.
Not that you don't speak a lot, but you might just not know a lot.
Wolfram just looks at you.
He says, Adric says, as he's like playing with because he's got many ringlets in his beard. It's very Nordic, he's got like the braided kind of dwarven beard almost, and he says, as he's playing with his beard braids and trinkets, obviously nervously, all we know is the only lead that we have is very much a stretch, and it's that there's a tower in which an ancient necromancer, a force of evil, once took residence, but it's hundreds of miles away. I don't know why there would be any... I'm at a loss here. That's the only lead that we have. There's a tower that once housed an ancient evil hundreds of miles away, and it is our only lead. That's the only thing that we know of that may be kidnapping and using these people, killing these people, eating these people. We don't know. Like I've said, all that we know is that for the past few weeks, kids have been waking up and their parents have been gone.
Have you sent anyone to investigate?
We've sent maybe 30 city guard, and none of them have returned. But, I mean, honestly, that's... In the wastes, we don't war anymore. The last I fought in a war was 45 years ago, and that wasn't a war, it was a skirmish. It was a land dispute, you know?
I leave in the waits. I will see tower.
That's the only lead that we have. And hold on, I have to make a roll for him. And certainly, if Mortimer, will you remind me of your stealth roll? It was a 17, right?
17.
Yep, it was 17.
And especially if the dwarf and elf who are listening in would be able to help as well. And he turns around and looks at the barrel that Mortimer is in.
Little
wink sound from Metal Gear Solid.
little furrowy eyebrows start to stick out at the top of the barrel, and he just kind of sticks his head up and he goes, "Oh, there's my wallet."
I'll let you know that was kind of a fluke because he has a -1 to his perception, but he rolled a 19, so he just rolled high enough to notice both of you.
Oh, rip.
Can't believe I didn't notice him.
You were probably focused, but they were well hidden. Her too, and he points at the end of the alleyway where you see like one. What color are your eyes?
Green.
One green eye and half of a pale elven face peeking around the corner.
I will not be responsible for their lives if they are to come along.
I mean, we've sent enough people to die by themselves, but they seemed pretty good at sneaking. I don't. Connor walks into the alleyway seemingly from nowhere, and he goes, "Adric, why are you telling these people this? There's not. You can't." Connor, I had a feeling about them. I had a feeling. Trust me, I did. You know, I can't see so good out of this eye anymore. And he taps the side of his head, and you can see his right eye kind of drifts a little bit, and you think it's probably a prosthetic eye.
I'm not gonna do it.
and
Just
Connor,
so you know, I was gonna see if I could maybe roll to grab the eye.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not going to. But I thought about it.
I'm going to tell you, it would probably be a tough roll because plucking someone's eye out.
Yeah, while they're awake, maybe not.
It was just a thought, intrusive thoughts.
So Connor looks at Adric, and you can tell he's frustrated. Connor sighs. He goes, "Well, at least invite them in to our home. Like, maybe don't talk about this out openly on the streets, you know?" And Adric kind of, it looks like the thought never occurred to him, and it just did as Connor told him to. And Connor puts a hand on Adric's shoulder, and you notice that Connor is like very wiry. He's maybe a good 3 or 4 inches taller than Adric, but Adric is built like a linebacker, and Connor is built like, you know, He's lanky. He's a library kid, obviously, you know. And Connor nods at you all, and Adric looks down and is rubbing his good eye with his hand as if he's frustrated, and he goes, Connor says, "Why don't you all come back to our place? We'll have dinner. We'll speak about this in a less clandestine way." I don't understand what your thought process was, Connor. Or Adric. And
I have a question for Connor.
shoot.
We went down a seemingly random alley at night. Yes, sure, there was a lot of noise being made, but you couldn't have known who was making the noise. How did you find us?
Adric and I have always had these gut feelings, which is why I didn't question it when he said he had a gut feeling about you guys, so...
Interesting.
We're not being covert. He probably just asked that old lady over there.
That's pretty fair.
I would have already walked into the alleyway at this point since they found me.
Adric looks at you, Raina, and he goes, "That was a pretty good effort, but you know, your kind is not very common here. I mean, we don't really have elves here. It's mostly humans and dwarves."
I get it. I would look at Wolfram and go ahead and tell him, I'll be sure to be safe for myself.
Also, as a note, because it just came up in my head, I would say the population here is probably like 60% human, 20% dwarf, and then the other, that's 80%. The other 20% is kind of mixed between halfling and tiefling, with there seeming to be more halflings, but also, just because Driffin has been kind of around you guys and you guys have seen him a lot today, he's the only blue tiefling that you've seen.
Okay.
And on that note, Connor nods down the alleyway and says, "Well, follow us." And he leads Adric down the alleyway, and Adric's frustrated. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what to do.
So I just wanted to say, I just rolled a 6 for dexterity. So Mortimer tries to get out of the barrel, and his foot catches the brim, and just kind of face plants. And then he like gets up and like brushes his nose off, but his eyebrows still have like dirt and shit in it.
Wolfram will offer you a hand.
You got a little something on your face there.
Much obliged, kind sirs. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I gotta say, I fucking love Mortimer.
Same.
Mortimer's
dra-
mood.
I will send it when it's done. I'm drawing a more cartoonized version of him to get his eyebrow characteristics off more. I want you guys to picture like he's one of those like Pixar dads.
I feel like I see Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't.
I just realized I don't know what Martin Scorsese looks like.
You ever seen Shark Tale?
Yeah. Oh, I know what he looks like. Oh, okay.
Blowfish.
Oh hell yeah.
What? Oh, him.
Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah, that's who I picture every time we say Mortimer.
I like it. Especially with the Pixar dad kind of comparison, yeah.
I want
No, I
you
get where-
guys. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I want you guys to picture, like, unless he's surprised, you do not see his eyes too well. And when he talks, it's just kind of like the mustache that wiggles.
I love it.
I like it.
Wait. There's something.
All right. So, provided that you guys all follow, you come across this like huge estate that is it's obviously one of those things where it's like, oh, this was built for someone of power, and this is not supposed to be a reasonable estate at all. This is not a living estate. And then to the left of that, there's a dinky, kind of like 2-bedroom duplex, and they lead you past the palatial estate to the duplex, and oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say something.
No, sorry.
And Connor pulls out a set of keys, and he sorts through it, and it's that comical scene from every horror comedy ever, where the janitor pulls out a set of 15 million keys and is sorting through them, and he goes, "Sorry, I run all the run all the clerical things in the city. I have to have keys to all the random click. Oh, found it!" And he puts it in.
I
and
have a question.
Go ahead.
Or before the door is open,
Yes.
could I roll to check for traps?
I mean, yeah, you can roll an investigation, but I will say that it will require, like, the act of investigation would be like feeling around the door and that kind of thing. It would be very obvious.
I'm not trying to make it not obvious.
That's fine.
All right, just to see. Oh.
So you'll roll a d20 plus 2, which is a natural fucking 20. Okay.
Show me the traps.
you kind of push past Connor, and he looks at you like, what? And you pat around the door frame, and you don't notice any traps, but you do notice that there's a fake rock that probably obviously has a key in it.
Well, then I pick up the rock and pull the key out and save him some time.
And he just sighs and looks at Adric, and he goes, "I told you to move that." And they lead you inside, and it's a pretty nice place. I mean, it's a 2-bedroom duplex, but it's nothing special. And Connor, he walks immediately into the kitchen area, and you can hear, as he walks in, there's some clanging and clattering, and Adric looks around, and he reaches into a cabinet that is a little bit taller than he is, and when he opens it, you can see rows and rows of bottles. And he pulls out a bottle, uncorks it, pours a glass, and then sits down with the bottle, leaving the glass on the table, and begins drinking from the bottle. And he says, "Help yourselves, sit down, hang out, do whatever. When Connor gets dinner done, we'll eat and we'll talk."
Wolfram also takes a bottle.
When you uncork it, it smells like rubbing alcohol.
You don't understand. That is literally what the vendors have been selling Wolfram for years. He doesn't even know about regular alcohol.
Yeah, he just drinks pure grain moonshine.
Propel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I literally have it on my character sheet that he bought wood grain alcohol from the vendors, and they've been selling it to him and talking shit about him behind his back for years. Like, yeah, he just always comes and buys all the wood grain alcohol and then leaves.
I feel like I would definitely check to find a bottle that I might like, but maybe not drink anything. Because this doesn't seem like the type of man that would drink what I like.
You do find a bottle of like a nice whiskey, but you notice most of it. It's like an aged whiskey, but it's not super special. It's maybe in our world it'd be like a $30 bottle. You know, it's pretty nice, but it's not the best thing on the shelf. You know.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's mostly like I said, like root vegetable alcohols. Like basically a lot of different versions of vodka. You know, there's like a beet vodka, which has this really interesting like red purplish color, and it's got these like silvery flakes that swirl around in it.
Are there any bottles that anyone with half the intelligence of, you know, anybody would notice is a person's favorite?
There's one that has about an eighth of the bottle left, but it is currently in a death grip in Adric's hand. And there's like 3 exact copies of it that have yet to be opened.
I opened one exact copy.
It is rough. It smells like floor polish. Like it's not great. You get the distinct whiff of like chemical burn in your nose, and also like licorice.
I feel like I would definitely take a drink and try to mask how disgusting it is.
Oh, it's rough. If you're only taking a sip, that's fine. But if you're gonna take a good swig, I'm gonna require a con save.
Yeah, I'm just doing a sip, but I'm pretending it was okay.
Yeah, it's rough. It's not great. Do you have something to say?
Wolfram at this point is just. Oh, hello?
Hello?
Oh, okay, I'm there. I think at this point, Wolfram has just sat down across the table from the mayor, drawing a blank. Adric. He's sat across the table from Adric and is just calmly and impassively drinking his rubbing alcohol that he is just taking a bottle from the mayor, and is just kind of keeping pace with the mayor.
That's a good choice. He's a little gone. He's not like stumbling, but he's got some slurs.
I just got stuck on something and I want to tell you guys something. So,
Yes.
Mortimer, whenever you talk, the thing that popped into my head when you said that you mostly see mustache, I was trying to figure out which character it was, and I finally figured it out. Has anybody seen Powerpuff Girls? Okay, so it's the mayor of Townsville.
Yeah.
Yes.
With that big ass mustache, and you never see his mouth.
Yes.
Fucking Tom Kenny is so great.
It took me forever, but I figured it out.
So there's some small talk. Adric kind of just asks you all about yourselves a little bit. However much you reveal is up to yourselves, but oh my god, I love it. He asks you guys about yourselves a little bit, and eventually, probably 45, maybe almost an hour later, Connor, you can hear call through the doorway. This place is all right. You know, I imagine a place that 2 23-year-old guys would live if they just needed a roommate and a place to live and just barely afford the rent, and it's kinda okay. But it's
Is it the apartment?
It's our apartment, yeah.
God damn.
And
That's a lot of cockroaches.
luckily, you don't see any pests. But
Well, depends on how you perceive pests.
but you walk into the other room, and it seems like this room is far too big to be in this little duplex. And there's a nice little table. It seats probably 6 or 8 people. which is convenient. And it's set, and in the center there's a large roasted bird. There's some like slow roasted veggies, and there's a gravy imagine like a Thanksgiving feast almost, but kind of conservative. It's not all over the place. There's a bird, there's some veggies, there's maybe some mashed potatoes, and a decanter of a wine on the table. And as you all are seated, Connor stands, holds up his wine glass, and says, "To new friends, but mainly, hopefully, to the saviors of our city." He feels very ingenuine. It's not hard to tell that. And he continues, and he says, "Hopefully, you will be able to help us deliver ourselves from whatever this madness is." And he sits, and he looks at Adric, and he goes, "Adric is not great with words. He's not great with people. He's a fighter. He's, the people liked him because he defended our city long ago." And Adric looks at him and he goes, "Hey, I don't have any gray in my hair and you do. So maybe let's stop with the long agos." And Connor looks at him and he goes, it's coming. It's in that beard a little bit. You got some salt and pepper going on, but whatever." And he goes back and he falls into a much more formal voice with you guys, and he goes, "So, here's what we know so far. Children are waking up without parents. There's no evidence of what happened to them. There's no blood trails, no bodies, no sounds in the night. Not a single child has woken up to find that their parent is being taken. And even a few whole families have been taken, children and all. We've been poring over the censuses, and we can find no pattern. We've been poring over everything because there is no pattern. Every book, placing city guard at night. This is a peaceful place. We only ever have to worry about the occasional bear wandering down from the mountains. This is..."
Yeah, you got one in here now.
He continues and he says, I trust Adric's gut feeling about you all, but hey, I only had a gut feeling about Driffin and Wolfram over here. The other two just happened to clue themselves in. But they seem plenty capable." And he reaches across the table into the center of the table, grabs the leg of the roasted bird, and just rips it off and begins to gnaw at it.
Wolfram also does this in basically taking the invitation and ripping the other leg off and starting to eat it.
You can hear Connor under his breath, "Fucking barbarians."
I have a question.
Yes.
How big is this bird compared to a dwarf?
It's like 25-pound turkey. Like, it's a decent, healthy-sized bird.
Okay.
It's probably dwarf.
Like dwarf size?
Mortimer hides it.
No. So he sees everybody like ripping this bird apart. He takes a deep sigh, puts his hand on one of the wings, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Cousin Thomas." Rips an arm off and starts getting at it.
Connor continues after sighing and rubbing his forehead in that, like, disappointed parent way. And he says, "The best lead that we have is that over the mountains, across half a tundra, there sits an ancient tower full of whatever evils used to live there, but that was long before our time. That was long before our great-grandparents' time. That was long before our great-great-great-grandparents' time. You get the idea. We don't know anything about it other than this whisper of a legend. But that's the only lead that we have, that I think it's telling that we've sent maybe 30, 35, 40 men from the guard employ, and none of them have come back. That's about the only thing that we have.
Is there anything you're not telling us?
No, not unless I've forgotten something. Roll an insight check.
Roll an insight check.
Yes.
Now all of us are listening. Are we all rolling for insight?
If you so choose.
Okay.
7.
17.
Wolfram is just waiting to find out why they think these two things are connected, because Wolfram sees absolutely no connection whatsoever. And if he doesn't address it very soon, he will say, why are these two things connected?
So,
Mortimer. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Mortimer is so interested, he leans forward and his brows furrow up a little bit. You can see his eyes.
I rolled a 10 plus 2, I assume.
Yes. So he seems to be telling the truth. There's nothing that all around. There seems to be nothing that he's hiding. And Adric is pretty out of it at this point. Adric is having a hard time dealing with this, obviously. And Connor says, "Well, Wolfram,
Well, hold on, let me ask in character.
yeah. Sorry.
Connor, tell me why these two things are connected. I see no reason to draw the conclusion that you have.
Well,
Conclusion. Big word for a man like you.
big word for a big man. Well, I have some level of magic, and it bothers me that suddenly people, some level of magic more advanced than most people, because most everyone knows some tiny cantrip. I don't know how to say this. There was nothing in that area. There was no feel. There was no aura. There was nothing to sense. And then suddenly, there was literally nothing. All of my probes, I've sent a familiar, and he waves his hand in an image of a crow, or a raven that's missing its left eye, kind of hovers above his left hand. I've sent familiars, and whereas there was not anything to notice, there is now nothing in that area. And by that I mean, suddenly there is a gap in, I don't know what to call it. Where there was, there is now not. I don't know how to explain that.
Reality.
I mean, yes. The only reason I would see for that is that someone is now hiding something.
Here's the question. Why hide something in nothing that is extremely noticeable?
I ask myself that same question. There's a lot of unknowns here.
I'll say.
The consensus is we know that something is happening, and the only lead that we have is that suddenly a large piece of land that hasn't been occupied in years, hundreds of years even, ceased to exist. There has to be a connection.
I will do this thing. Wolfram gets up to leave.
At that moment, everyone hears a scream outside.
Wolfram runs outside. Okay, is it initiative time?
It is initiative time.
All right.
Let me know when you want the numbers.
So, let's see. All right, go ahead with your numbers.
14.
Let me check to see if I have advantage yet. I don't think so. That is 10.
Twenty.
20.
I got a 19 and my initiative plus is 1.
Okay. Cool.
13, but my sheet isn't pulling.
Yeah, I got you.
Damn it. Okay, there it goes. Okay.
Where the fuck did my dice bag go? There it is. Okay. Sorry, like I said, it's been a long time since I've DM'd, so... Mortimer, what's your dex mod?
1 sec. +4. Wait, sorry, +2. I was looking at my saving throws.
Okay.
It's +2.
Initiative +2, 13, 15. So my roll is 15.
Alright.
Sorry, just organizing the thing here. Okay, so outside there is a woman and her child. She has her, it seems to be a young woman, maybe 25, 30 years old, and her daughter, maybe 5 or 8 years old, and they are running from what seems to be an animate shadow just outside the house. It's like maybe 15 feet away from you guys. Up first is Raina.
Okay.
Sorry, go
As
ahead.
the only one standing, do I get any sort of bonus to movement? I am the only one that was standing.
Yeah, I think you get there first. So we'll put you
Okay.
first, and then you'll go.
Okay.
No, I'll still take 10. I just get outside first. But
Yeah.
let's do Rainer first.
Yeah. So
Well, I guess I'm getting up and I'm walking out there.
you get standing outside the door is Wolfram, and he's got his sword drawn. And as you get out and get past him, you see what I described. There's like an animate shadow that has kind of like big it's like a piece of fabric almost that is animated, but it's made of shadow, and it's chasing down this woman and her child.
Okay, how much? This is at night, right? Like, it's dark.
It's like 8:30.
Okay, so what it is now?
Is it
It's
dark?
pretty decently dark.
I'd say yeah, it's dark.
So I would probably use light.
You what? What now?
Was
I
that
think I
reaction into what I said?
No, that's into Reyna.
Oh, you're good.
I think I would use light to light up where we are.
Read off light to me, because it's a cantrip, right?
Yeah. I don't have that. You have that.
It essentially does the same as a torch,
Yeah.
and you cast it on an object or a person. If you cast it on an object, there's no saving throw. If you cast it on a person, it's a dex save. It just spreads light like a torch. It's 20 feet bright, 20 feet dim. Either that or it's 30 feet, but it's a small clearing. It's not going to matter that much.
Yeah, if you cast light on something, it'll say it'll light up the
Area.
area.
I'll light up the piece of chicken I have in my hand.
Nice.
You'll light up the piece of chicken in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a. You have a lit up chicken wing that
It will glow for an hour.
yeah, it'll glow for an hour, so that's fun. That is one action. Do you have anything you can do as a bonus action or anything? Or you probably have about 5 feet of movement left.
Throw the chicken wing.
Wolfram says when she comes outside, stay behind me.
I'd probably pull out one of my daggers just to have it out.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
All right, next up is Driffin. Driffin, fuck! I need to make a note about that.
It's all good. So, I'm gonna go outside, but kind of in a nonchalant, what the hell is going on kind of mood.
You see, as described, a animate shadow chasing down a woman and her child.
It's dark, right?
It is
Not
now.
anymore.
Yeah, it's now in 20 feet around. Around Reyna is bright light, and dim light for an additional 20 feet after that.
What can I see 20 feet past that?
It seems to be that there's just people milling around. There's people in shock, but there seems to be it's just this shade chasing this woman and her child. I accidentally said the monster's name.
Interesting. I'll
I didn't hear what
ignore
you
it.
said.
That didn't happen.
Good.
Lucky for you, Trevor has Alzheimer's.
He just runs out. What am I doing here? Who are you people?
Who are you? Who am I?
I feel
Trevor
that.
gets
Forget
better
you're in
and better.
combat every now and again, please. I'm not sure exactly what to do. What can I?
So
You
you
can
have.
pull out your weapons.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
You have any attack action with your weapons that you can do as long as it can reach. You're probably, if you're standing just outside the door, I'd say you can get within 10 feet of it by running straight from the dinner table.
I'm at least gonna draw my bow. And all kind of I'm not exactly sure what else to do. I'm not
You could
supposed to know
tell
what
it
it
to-
is.
You could tell it to freeze or something. You could basically try to reason with it if you think that that's what you would do. You point a weapon at it and say, stop or something. That's always an option.
No, I've got it. I draw my weapon and I say, "Hey, girl."
Nice. Roll for confusion.
Legitimately, Jesus. With that, unless you want to do something as a bonus action.
I don't know what I can do, so.
Not at level 1.
Yeah, there's not really anything you can do at level 1, honestly.
I'll chill.
So, the animate shadow sees you people, and it is
What do you mean, people?
it sees Wolfram, Reyna, and Driffin. Fuck! And I'll get it eventually, I promise.
Growls.
It sees the three of you, and you notice it be like, well, I'm in over my head, and it kind of starts to duck into an alleyway a little bit.
Already? Jesus. Okay.
Did I really scare it that much?
Yeah, that was a hell of an intimidation, man.
It moves about 15 feet down into an alleyway.
That chicken wing did a good job.
Yeah. Next up, it is Mortimer.
Okay. So is it close enough to where I would be able to strike it if I manage to hit?
No, but you can get super close to it at this point. Like, close enough that you could hit it on your next turn.
Okay, so I would like to run as far as I can, and
Okay.
while I do, I would like to draw my weapon.
Yes.
Okay, so Mortimer comes through the doors, and you guys notice as he is like running past you guys, the barrels that were on his feet are strapped to his back.
Oh no.
I'm going to roll an acrobatics check.
Remember, your speed is only 25.
Yes. No, I know.
Okay.
How does a 16 perform?
For...
I would like to kick something in front of me.
Are you kicking your barrel in front of you?
Yes.
I think that would be an attack. Wouldn't it be like a D4 unproficient?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not gonna hit anything with it. I'm literally getting it to me.
Oh, okay.
You're getting it to sit in front of you?
Yes, I want the barrel to get in front of me.
Oh, you can just do that. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so he loosens one of the barrels, and it falls on the floor while one of his feet is in the air, so he kicks it and it rolls forward. And on characters and info photos, he has a staff on his back. He kind of grabs that staff and then reverse sword in the stone, plunges the dowel into the barrel, and it is now a hammer.
Not bad. That's
That
pretty
is
cool,
incredible.
actually.
That took a turn.
That took a very cool turn.
Speaking of taking a turn, Wolfram, it's yours.
About fucking time. Anyway, he doesn't say that character. Anyway, I'm gonna rush after this thing. I wasn't sitting down, so can I reach it?
Yeah, I think you can get to it first. Yeah, this turn. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna rush after it. I'm basically I'm outside. I've drawn my humongous fucking sword, and I'm just gonna dart away from the door, and basically leap into the air and do a downward slash. Try to cut it.
Cool. Roll to hit.
All right. It's not very good. That's an 11.
Yeah, it seems like your blade just kind of can't really find purchase on this weird animate thing, you know.
Okay. Okay, that's my turn.
So it turns, looks at you, and is incredibly scared because this man that is the size of two men is swinging a giant weapon at it, and it's going to try and attack back at you. Does a 16 hit? Nope. Hold on. Does an 8 hit?
An 8 does not hit. A 16 would hit.
Okay. Well, it has disadvantage for a certain reason, but
Okay.
all right. And after that, Reyna, it's your turn. You can probably catch up with Wolfram. You guys were about even, and you don't have like a stupid high. I forget when barbarians get a stupid high walking speed.
Speed?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. So it's your turn, Reyna.
Okay.
You have any physical? You can easily catch up to it. You have any physical attack action or any of your spells?
Yeah, you have a dagger in hand if you want to stab it, or you could always, like, Sacred Flame this bitch.
I do
Yeah,
have
I think you have that one.
I'm pretty sure I do.
That's always
Double
good.
check. Yes, I do. I was actually looking at that. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna use Sacred Flame.
Sweet.
What do I need to roll for it?
You don't.
Oh, okay.
That was cocked. What is your spell save DC?
13,
13?
I think. Yeah, 13.
Okay. You see light from what typically would be like a fiery light is kind of a soft, like almost ribbon-like moonlight shifts and kind of dances around, and the creature hisses and backs away, but it doesn't seem like the attack took purchase.
Okay.
With that, did you have anything else? That was your action.
Oh, not yet.
Cool. So with that, Driffin, it is your turn.
Alright, what's the light source that is not a chicken wing and currently burning fire?
It's just the chicken wing. There's probably people with torches around, but down in the alley that you saw them take off down into, Wolfram and Reyna, there's not really anything other than the chicken wing.
How far can I go?
You have a 30-foot walking speed, I believe.
I wanna go
Catch
as far
up.
as I can.
Yeah, where is your walking speed on this thing? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you can catch up to them.
Okay, I want to catch up to him. Is there any non-magical fire around me?
No.
No. Okay. Well then,
Wolfram growls, shoot it!
yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna shoot it with my arrow. I'm gonna draw an arrow and shoot it.
Cool. So for that, you will roll 1d20 plus 4.
1d.
Hell yeah.
Hold. I gotta get there.
Oh,
18
that's-
plus 4, 22.
That's a fucking hit. Roll 1d8 plus 2.
First blood.
8,
Cool.
10.
That hits it pretty heartily. You see the arrow kind of sink into it, and it's a two-dimensional being. It's weird, but you see it sink in, but it doesn't come out the other side.
Mm.
Yeah. And on that note, it, shrieking, peeling itself away from the wall, in the light that is Reyna's chicken leg, you see another. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to let you know I've positioned myself in front of it. The other two probably are not in direct melee.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
So, another, like, basically a photocopy of it peels itself off the wall, and the one that shrieked after being hit is going to swing its little dirty claws at the tower of a man and whiff fucking completely.
Oh no, I think he hits, but it just bounces off of his glistening abs.
you hear a wet smacking sound.
Like a fish slapped against cement.
Yes. And, Mortimer, you hear a...
How much...
Sorry, go ahead.
I just was gonna make a dumb joke. How much damage do they take?
Mortimer, you hear a wet fish sound come from the alley. It's your turn.
Okay, so I continue running, and I would because I am not a strong man, I would like to do kind of like a hammer swing, where I go to spin my hammer around and then use that momentum to get like an actual swing onto the thing to hit it.
I think that's doable. Yeah. So roll an attack to hit. You'll just roll a d20, because I don't think you have proficiency with that weapon.
10.
He
does, because he's a dwarf. Dwarves have automatic proficiency with battle hammers.
So you smack into it. This thing that has an arrow sticking out of it. So Wolfram, this crazed old man with this like blazing black eye that's like shining in the chicken light. He comes running past you and clubs into this thing. Go ahead and roll your damage. That's 1d4 plus 2, I think.
Wait, plus 2?
It's his strength. It's his strength.
Yeah, so plus your strength mod. I don't remember what your strength mod is.
My strength is -1, which is fine because it's a 4, so yeah, 3.
Cool. Well, I suppose there are 2 shades now. You have the choice of attacking the one that has been attacked, or...
I would like to horizontal swing the one closest at a wall back into said wall.
Nice.
Okay.
For future reference, Mortimer, when you're rolling with a hammer, you add +2 for being proficient, and then you add or subtract whatever your strength modifier is, because it is a strength-based weapon.
Okay, so it would have been +2 and then -1, so it would have been a 5.
Well, let's not. Oh, yeah. Well, we won't quibble over that or anything. Well, that's only to hit. You don't get proficiency to do damage.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
I should have explained better.
No, you're good. I'm just learning.
With that mighty hammer thwack, Wolfram, it's your turn.
I think Wolfram has a newfound respect for his companions, because he has not yet been able to hit this thing, and they all have just come in and absolutely fucked these things up. But that does make him angry, but not in like a bad way. So he's gonna try hitting it again.
Awesome.
Oh, that's much better. Okay, an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Are you attacking wall bang or arrow heart?
Arrow heart, I think.
Okay.
I think he's gonna try to finish it off.
Yeah.
I am wielding a longsword in 2 hands. That is a D10. So let's go ahead and roll that. All right, that's 10 slashing, piercing damage, whatever you want to call it.
Cool.
I think I thrust my sword into it because we're in a narrow alleyway, right? So instead of trying to swing, I just kind of thrust into it.
Yeah. It heartily takes it, like, in what would be its chest, and hisses harshly at you, and tries to grab at the blade weakly. But it is not quite dead yet. So, next up is the wall banged, and it is kind of stunned and shocked, and it's gonna look at the guy that just slammed it back into the wall and try and make a hit. Does a 16 hit, Mortimer? Your armor class?
Yes, it does.
I didn't take my bonus action. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go ahead and yeah. That's my bad.
No. I should have mentioned it. It doesn't matter. I fumble and drop my. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I fumble and drop. I failed to do what I was doing, so I'm not even gonna mention it. So yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
16 on Mortimer.
Yes.
So Mortimer, you take 4 damage.
Oh shit! All right.
And it hisses at you in this like it almost like if you didn't know any better you'd think it was maybe speaking primordial, but it's not quite, you know. It's like, what the fuck is that, you know?
Can I growl back at it?
Yeah. It
Alright.
flinches. It flinches. It did not expect that.
Mortimer.
Reyna, it's your turn.
Is it kind of cute though?
A little bit, yeah. It's like Toothless.
Oh no, I meant when Mortimer growls back at it. It's like kind of like a cute old man. He's like, "I'm gonna get you."
It's like the vampire at the end of Buffy the Vampire with R.
Grr, arg.
Arg. Yep.
Hell yeah.
I think I would use my dagger. Which one's got less?
The one that has Wolfram's blade in its chest.
Okay, let's go ahead with that one.
Okay, so make your attack roll. Yep.
So 17 hit.
17 hits.
Okay. How many is it? Just one? 'Cause it's a dagger.
For a dagger, it's a d4.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. 3.
3. You notice Wolfram, the Reyna kind of sweeps in underneath you and sinks her dagger in under, like, into the back of the shade in this, like, kind of sliding, swooping motion, and it dematerializes with a hiss and a pop, and the Driffin's arrow falls to the ground. You have defeated one of the two. Speaking of,
Woohoo.
Driffin, it is your turn.
So I happened to catch something you said. Their hisses could be a language.
Don't think too much about it. That was just flavor text, honestly. It was just kind of a wow, that's almost, if you didn't, it's like when huskies sing. It's like if you didn't know any better, you know.
Okay. Where is the one?
So
In reference to me, where
In the
is it?
wall.
yeah,
It's like in the wall.
yeah, it's kind of like half sunk into the wall, and Mortimer's kind of standing a little bit like diagonal to it with his hammer raised.
Glowering,
So
growling.
if it's into the wall, would that be like a disadvantage at a range?
I
No.
don't think you're within 5 feet. You only get disadvantage if you're within 5 feet.
Yeah, you're good to just roll. You roll your attack.
Yep, that's what I'm doing then. Hold. 1d. Is it 8?
Yeah.
Roll your d20 first to hit to see if you hit.
20.
Ah, right. I forgot about that.
17.
That fucking hits.
Now the D8.
Yes. Be a d8 plus 2, I think? Yeah.
Yeah. 6, 8.
8, so... It does not like that. It very much so does not like that. Mortimer, you're up.
Finish it off.
All right. So the swing kind of dismantles Mortimer a little bit. The ricochet was a little too much for his old man arms. So I would like to do an unarmed strike and just punch him.
Yeah, go for it. That's just a d20, and your strength is -1, so...
Oh shit. Well, the d20 hit the floor. Give me one sec. I gotta grab a new one. I don't know where it went.
Better find that
Oh,
for
you
the
know
cat does.
What's the... Okay, it's just dice roll.
Yeah, it's just exclamation d20.
Oof.
Well, that's a 3.
Yeah, unfortunately that's a miss.
Punches
he-
the wall instead.
I would like to... Yeah, can I punch the wall and then like roll like a d4 for how much damage my knuckles take or something?
I think you punched the wall, and you thought that you were going to get a good handle on it, but you just kind of you swung wide by like 6 or 8 inches, and you hear something pop in your hand, and you're like, well, that's not good.
Okay.
So would he take damage from the wall then?
That's what I'm trying to decide.
No, you know,
Like, give
I
him, like,
would
1 damage from hitting the wall.
I would rather roll disadvantage on my next turn than take damage, if that's possible.
Well, hey, you literally can't deal damage. Because you have a -1. So, like, you can only deal 1 damage. -1. So, I would see him taking the damage.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first thought. So yeah, I think you're good. Like, you tried to hit the thing, but you swung into the wall, and when your fist connected with the wall, you realized you weren't swinging as hard as you thought you were.
Okay, that's fine.
What did you roll? Oh, 4, yeah.
Yeah, if it would have been a crit fail, I would have maybe, but I think you're fine. Speaking of, it's Wolfram's turn.
I'm gonna help. I see multiple flagging, and I see that once again my adversary, my rival, Grayson, has already shot this little creature. I'm just gonna go ahead and swing around and try to cut its head off or whatever. I don't know. It's in the wall, and I'm right next to the wall, so I'm just gonna swing.
Yeah, take it out.
All right, yeah. Aiming for cutting its head off, cutting its brick wall or whatever. That is a cutting. Finesse.
Awesome. Roll up your damage.
Ooh, that's maximum damage. That's 12.
Holy shit. Yeah.
I cut it down to the wall, right?
Yeah. Like you kind of cleave it from shoulder to what would be hip, but it's kind of like Genie. Imagine Genie, where it has like a thin point that fades out. And yeah, you cleave it in half, and again you hear this like hiss and a pop, and as you do so, Adric and Connor run outside, and you see Connor is talking to the woman who is like holding her child and shaking, and she's still kind of shocked, or in shock rather, and Adric kind of walks up to you guys and he goes, "That we've never had, huh? We've never had a I don't know what that. He's flustered. He's clearly flustered, and he's going to just point back at the duplex that they live in, and wave, and can then trudge back inside, kind of dejectedly.
Could I retrieve the 2 arrows I shot?
Yes. I'm going to assume, unless you specifically say or do something with them that makes them unretrievable, that you do retrieve them.
Okay, alright. Safe to assume.
Yeah. Like, if you're like, I shoot it into the chandelier, yeah, you're not getting that arrow back unless you climb up, you know. But, yeah.
Okay.
You could just have Wolfram grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just pull the chandelier down.
And if it's just out of reach, he can hold me and I can grab it.
Yes!
I'm just imagining Wolfram's like got his palm out open on the bottom of each barrel.
Well, so, are you described Wolfram? I don't know. He's probably somewhere between 6'6" and like 6'8". Probably low, between 55 and 50. He's not like really broad and big. He's actually kind of wiry, but he's just like granite. He's got the wolf body.
Okay, so I'm like half your size. So if you just look down and I'm like hip height, giving you like uppy arms.
I pick him up and put him on my back. You are
Grandpa want uppy.
Uppy.
Grandpa want uppy.
I really hope you this time. Like what?
Party dynamic is so interesting.
Yeah. So on that note, you see Connor on your way back into the house. You see Connor has kind of calmed the woman down, and he's called over a city guard and is having her escorted home with her child, and he follows you guys back into the home. And in the doorway, he doesn't even close the door. In the doorway, he's just like, that does not happen here, and that worries me. That is why I want to send people to, because of the unnatural things I've seen, I've never seen that. And he points back behind him outside, and that was nothingness, and I don't like it. I can't let the people of this city down. I can't let any more people go missing. And with that, he kind of just shakes his head a little bit and walks into his own room and shuts the door behind him. And I think that's all he has to say. And Adric looks up, sitting in his chair that he was sitting in earlier, drinking from his bottle he was drinking from earlier, and he says, "We need your help, and you have clearly proven yourself tonight, because while I sat here drunk in my living room, in my diner, eating whatever fucking delicious bird Connor cooked up,
Hey, by the way, there's a glowing chicken leg stick.
yeah, he notices Raina nibbling on the glowing chicken leg, and he's just like, okay. Look, I have some power here. Go over to where's my notes? Hibbett's Brook Brewery, They have some rooms for seasonal workers. Tell them I sent you. They'll give you beds for the night. Come back in the morning and I'll help you set up stock and provisions for venturing out. If
Do they
you,
have? Sorry, go ahead.
if you will do it for me. I can't do it myself. I'm an old man. I wish I could, but I'm worthless in this endeavor. I need help. Obviously, Connor's had enough. And he kind of just leaves that hanging in the air.
So will they have beds and alcohol for us?
Wolfram's already taken another bottle out of Adrian's stock.
They'll have as much as you can drink. It's a brewery.
For free?
I mean, I'm sure my name carries some weight. But off with you. Connor's in a mood. I hate to be a dick myself, like I said earlier. I'm not great with people. I try, but you know.
Could I? He went into his room and closed his door. Yes.
Yes.
Could I put my ear to the door to see if there's any noise coming from the room?
Yeah, you certainly can.
Okay. Do I need to roll?
Yes. Roll an investigation.
Rolled a 6.
Plus
I
2
gotta see
would
what
be
my
8.
investigation. Okay.
So, you don't really hear a whole lot. You can kind of hear him muttering to himself, but you're not surprised. You can't really make out what he's saying, but, you know, it's kind of like he's upset, you know?
Okay.
And, unless you guys want to do anything else, you can retire for the night at the Hibbetsbrook Brewery.
Oh yeah. Well, basically, like 5 times while Adrian was like, "Hey, I really hate to kick you out. I have to ask you to leave." Like Wolfram kept trying to leave, but Adrian kept stopping. And won't call him back. Yes, that is enough. I would like to leave now.
So, you get to the Hibbetsbrook Brewery, and there's a tall guy with a shaved head, and he's got kind of a grayish pallor, and you notice he's got kind of a light, like one of them is broken, but he's got 2 very faint tusks, almost as if he's got some orc ancestry. And he introduces himself and he says, "Hi, I'm Oliver. Is there any way I can help you today?" And you give the name of Adric and explain the situation, and he says, "Oh, great. I'll have Felicity get you your rooms. There should be a woman in the other room, back there. She'll get your keys and stuff, and you're fine for the night." He looks at Mortimer and he goes, "Hey, okay, cool."
Is Mortimer still riding?
Is Mortimer still
Yes.
riding Wolfram?
I think so.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
accept it.
Yeah.
Well, if Mortimer is an outfit, then we'll have you on the box. Take care of that. When the work guy asked about it, he probably just gestured. Like, take care of this.
So, you guys each get your room. Felicity is this nice little halfling woman. She's got this. She seems to have some age on her, but she's still a very pretty in a nice waitress at the diner kind of way. She talks to you like that. Hey doll, how you doing? We'll get you your rooms. Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And Driffin, you do happen to notice that on the wall behind Oliver there is a very nice hunting bow, like a longbow. It's got like script that you've only seen from weapons that are produced far out in other lands. You can't really tell exactly where, but you're like, oh, we don't imbue those runes on our weapons, you know.
Yeah.
And you all get to your rooms, and
How are the rooms split up? Do we each have an individual one?
yes, I think you do. They're all right rooms. They're, you know, this would be rooms equivalent to like a hotel that you would maybe not pay for yourself, but you happen to be staying there because the company's paying for it. You know,
Is it a Motel 6?
no, I mean like on the other end of that, like it would be just out of the
Western.
yeah, it's just out of your price range, but not by a whole lot. You know, like you could stay there if you saved up and went on vacation. You know, they're pretty nice rooms, and there is a mini keg in each room. And after, I mean, you know, y'all can hang out however you'd like to, but if the plan is just to go to sleep, I have another phase.
I will say one thing.
Yes.
Before I go to sleep, is there anything in my room that is small, if fell, would make a lot of noise?
Honestly, probably the mini keg would be the best thing. Because it would.
There's no knickknacks?
I would like to position something in a way where if someone were to open my door, it would fall and wake me.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
there's probably like one of those decorative like flower vases or whatever that's like made of glass and it has the beads inside of it. You know, that kind of deal.
I do that
Cool.
for sleep.
So, you guys get pretty close to a full long rest. I'm gonna say you can go ahead and heal up. But
Can I do something before bed?
yes,
Okay. Is there a tavern keep right now?
yes, that's Oliver.
Okay, so I walk up to Oliver and I ask him, hey, can I have 2 bottles of your best drink?
Yeah. Do you have the coin for that? Hey,
Adric said that we could get drinks for free on his tab.
he looks at you with a raised eyebrow, even as he's turning around to reach up to the top shelf, and he goes, "All right, I'll have to talk to Adric about that. I mean, I'll honor it, but you know." And he pulls down this really like flowery, very pretty bottle that has a cork that is like the top of the cork has been carved into a rose shape, and he looks through his cabinets again, and he finds something else that's kind of similar. It's got a blue bottle, and it's again very flowery, but in a different way. Whereas the first one has like almost a bulb on the bottom, and it's blown to look like, you know, a rose stem. This one kind of looks almost like a blueberry bunch, like a bunch of blueberries. Kind of, it's a short, squat bottle, you know, and he hands them both to you, and he goes, all right, you and your friends enjoy that. And even through the cork, you can smell from the rose cork, because the other one is kind of a screw on top, that it smells like expensive wine. And on the front of the bottle, it has dragon, of the rose one, it has dragon thorn just emblazoned in this kind of like dark blue script on it. And the other one is unlabeled.
Okay. So I accept the bottles and I look at them and I go, I appreciate this. And do you possibly know where I could go to talk to somebody about getting potions?
Yeah, that would be, oh god, what is his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. Joey Fat One at Leighton's Legacy, I think. I don't know, we get all our stuff imported, so I never have to worry about it.
Alright, I appreciate it very much. Now, if you don't mind, I will see myself off to bed.
Sounds good. You enjoy your night.
You as well.
Does anybody else have anything they want to do for the end of the night?
I think I'm just gonna go head up.
Cool. So, Mortimer, the sun is shining through the window of your room, and it's just you have a hangover. I'm sorry, you do. It's
Okay.
just getting to be you. Well, do you drink the bottles?
No.
Okay.
No, I have not touched the bottles yet. But we could say that I bottled the alcohol that I didn't finish before, and I had some of that. If you want me to wake up hungover.
Nope, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be. I just, that stuff is strong stuff.
Okay.
So, the sun is just peeking through the windows. You've gotten a decent rest. You went to sleep at like 9:30. It's probably 7 a.m. You got a decent rest. Your door is kicked open violently, and Adric stands there with with a pink bottle in his hand, and it seems to have like a swig left in it, and he just looks at you dead in the face, and he goes, "Connor's missing."
Upon hearing the door be kicked in, I think that probably wakes Wolfram, who has now appeared in the hallway with nothing but a sword and a wolf belt.
Whoa.
I feel like Wolfram running through the hall, possibly running by my room, knocked down what I had set up, and I was alarmed awake.
Yeah,
Check.
Oh, for sure.
no,
But
you
you
all
probably heard crash. Bang, 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 bang.
you
So
all
I
are
come
awake
out
at
to
this
see
point.
what's going on.
Yeah. You see a half-dressed Adric standing in what you know to be Mortimer's room doorway, and you don't hear what he said, but he kicked the door in, and he said to Mortimer, "Connor's gone," or "Connor's missing," and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it on this session.
Oh.
Shit.
Alrighty. Do we meet again in a week or two?
I'm gonna vote 2.
Okay.
Wait.
By me.
Go ahead.
That's
Do we
fine.
have anything?
Let me look.
Yeah, 2 unless something comes up. We'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Let me make a note.